for being here. Thank you for taking the time. Andrea, Philippe, quick introduction about what you do, what's your business, just to have the context. So Andrea, ladies first.
Hello, so I'm Andrea Lachapelle. I'm the Group Chief Data Officer at EDENRED. So for those who do not know EDENRED, so EDENRED is the leading digital platform, expert in payment and services, which connects today 60 million users, 2 million partners, merchants, and 1 million corporate clients in 45 countries today. So it's a specialist of what we call restricted payment, being present today and providing services in food, in engagement, in mobility, and corporate payment. And it's dealing with today, last year, so 41 billion euros in business volume in 1 year.
60 million?
41.
Wow. Okay, but 60 million users you have?
Yes, 60 million euros in 45 countries.
Wow, that's a lot of volumes and transactions. Okay.
Indeed, so that's why I joined EDENRED, because we have a lot of data.
Good. Philippe, what's Vialink?
Yep, Vialink is a signature group company. We are a software vendor. So we are selling a platform, an end-to-end platform to basically onboard customers and to handle digital transactions. So what does it mean? We tackle difficult processes we've all been through, like opening a bank account, requesting a loan, requesting a leasing, life insurance. All these processes are very often quite difficult or pain, actually. And we provide a platform to ease and secure that processes, to check identity, to collect documents like IDs or revenues, tax assessments, pay slips, etc., etc. And we automate all the KYC part, which is a big thing for banks and insurances, obviously. And we go up to the signature of a contract or an agreement. So that's what we provide. We provide that for large companies mainly, so 500 companies over Europe. Our users are spread a bit in all over the places. We have people sign documents last year from 92 countries. So that's what we do.
You provide services for your clients in 92 countries. How many in the volume? How many clients, how many users?
In terms of users, I don't have a clear number in mind, but it's hundreds of thousands of users in France and all over Europe.
Because you are doing millions of onboarding, I guess.
Yeah, we're doing millions of transactions. Last year, only in France, we've handled 3.5 million onboardings, like let's say opening an account again, a loan, life insurance, etc.
You're going to have to tell us how you do it in a few minutes. But first, back to you, Andrea. You have a lot of data, a lot of users. So it's an AI conference. How do you use AI? What are the challenges and the opportunities for the business and for you as a chief data officer?
So EDENRED, today it's a full digital platform. So when we say digital, everything is mobile app and payment, car payments. So we're collecting a lot of data. So when we talk about digital, it's also trying to understand your customer better. So definitely trying to analyze. So when we look, data is mostly, to say, very linked to the business strategy. That was the first thing that we wanted to put in place. And when we look to EDENRED, it has three main pillars. First, it's our core business. So we say we use data to scale the core, so help the business. And then you can imagine everything from doing better your pricing, your attrition, your upsell, cross-sell. So that's helping them, and also being more efficient on a daily basis. So we have a lot of data, even from finance team to processing all this information has become very heavy for them. So automatizing our internal let's say, processes. But then a big pillar of our strategy is what we call go beyond and diversification. So for today, we are saying, like, say, payment solution for mobility. So I'm using my car to pay for gas, for maintenance of this is corporate, so we're a B2B2C platform. But in the same time, we're starting saying, okay, I will create a virtual AI assistant helping the driver to know where to go and get the fuel at the best price or have less CO2 impact. Or how is the set up the EV charging network?
It's already in production?
Yeah, so this is live, for example, in Brazil today, so we're scaling up. So the idea is I'm not just offering you payment, but I'm offering you services so to improve your costs, because if you are a big company, you have a lot of trucks in all Europe, let's say fuel price has a big impact, so I'm trying to solve this. And of course, this is our virtual assistant, making the connection between the, let's say, the operating center of a big transport company and the driver in real time. So we're putting this in place, not just for mobility, but also for, let's say, in our food industry, in our food partners, for merchants. Let's say I'm working to work with a restaurant, and I'm trying to help him say, okay, this is the payment, so let's say the employer can come and pay, but also you can help them come more often to the restaurant, or maybe I will help you have less impact on your waste, for example, at a restaurant. We're having this, also how I am using data to create these new services for our corporate clients today.
And how do you do it? Where do you start? What's the process?
So process, we always start with one, let's say, country where we think there is signal. There's the market, because not all the markets have the same needs in the same time.
And where the legislation allows you to do it.
Exactly, but it has to be a business purpose for that. So usually you start with that country because you need to be very business driven, very close to where it happens. But we have at the group level, the way they are organized, the data team and the business team, so that somebody thinks of scalability, and we know if it's relevant in other markets. So we are putting in place the foundation so that you can scale for. So scalability for us, even if it's for internal purpose or for these new services, it's a key element in choosing, prioritizing our projects today.
And you have a process in place for the data management? I mean,
yes.
How you run the data?
So exactly. So usually, as I say, it comes as portfolio if it makes sense for the business. And then we look at the foundation. So does it make sense? Is there ROI? And then we look, do you have, for example, is the data platform in place? Do you collect the data? Then do you have the skills from business for the tech teams to work? And then we look also on the governance, is like compliance, security of the data. So what we have this business purpose and the use case data, but we build this foundation at the same time. So we don't go in a country or at least if we go, we know the effort to build the foundations.
Awesome. I will get back to you, to the real AI side of your business. Philippe, I mean, you work with so many large groups, just like, not yet EDENRED, but after the panel. What's the challenge you see they face, and how do you try to solve those challenges for them? What's the process you have internally?
Yeah, the main challenges, I mean, what the large groups, large banks like BPCE or insurances like ABE or other large customers we have, they're looking basically for free benefits. They want to have a better customer experience or provide a better customer experience. That's obvious, but that's difficult in that kind of processes when there are a lot of data exchange, a lot of document exchange, when it's long. So it's a lot of back and forth very often. So they're looking for really better customer experience. The second thing they're looking for is to minimize the risk. Because in digital transactions, obviously there are two risks in regulated industries: the sanction risk, which is a real one, and the obvious one, which is the fraud risk, because all of these processes, these financial processes, are very exposed to fraud. So minimization of risk. And the third one is we deliver time, because we automate things that are done manually. For example, all the KYC process, all the compliance process within an onboarding, we kind of automate all that, and basically we do in 15 seconds what is done in half an hour. So basically it's productivity or efficiency. So they're all looking for these three main benefits, basically using the platform.
We have a few entrepreneurs in the room, and I know the difficulties is always how to sell to the big groups, and especially AI is sexy, but it's also complex, okay? So I'm going to ask you, both of you, but starting with you, Philippe, what's your advice? I mean, you've been on the road for a few years now. You are a good seller. Your company works very well. So what's your secret sauce, if you can share with some of the entrepreneurs in the room? What's the approach, the ingredients?
I mean, when talking to trying to solve or to bring value to large companies, obviously it's a challenge for startups because the startups are very exposed to time. And when you deal with large companies, you have to build value and you have to create partnership, long-term one, which time, it takes time.
There are small startups, they don't have time, they want to sell.
So that's the equation to solve, which is not an easy one. So I would say we took our time because we've been able to bring on the market things maybe 6 years ago. We've been basically we built our solution based on a combination of AI techniques, machine learning, deep learning at that time, NLP, and it's been quite an innovative breakthrough somehow. So we've been quite lucky that the solution has been adopted quite quickly, but quickly means still maybe 18-month relationship.
18 months, I think, is the average for most of the startups.
So it's a long time still. So time is the issue, is the essence also, but is the issue. So basically, it needs to build with large enterprises long-term relationships, and it needs time. Obviously, you need to deliver value beyond a nice demo, obviously, because we provide, I mean, real industrial, large-scale service. So when you do 3.5 million onboardings, let's say credits or whatever last year, it has to be reliable and replicable as a service, as a value you provide.
Nice. Andrea, do you work with startups? I mean, two questions. The first one is, how do you build your AI models? Is it internally, you use some platforms that are already existing out there? And then do you work with service providers also to build some products?
So usually when it's a decision of make it or buy, we call it internally. So we're not like, we do things in-house if we think from a, let's say, return on investment makes sense. We are conscious that building models and maintaining them, it's a lot of effort and resources. And sometimes, in some cases, working with external partners that work with several other companies or have a bigger R&D department makes sense. So it's an analysis, pro and cons. So it depends on the situation. So we do both today. So it's not like we do have data science, data engineering teams. But we also take software or other partner solutions in EDENRED today. So it depends.
There's a few groups. I know there's a few bankers in the room. Maybe they're not in the food like you or the corporate servicing. But what are not the challenges, but maybe the mistake you've done? I'm sorry, it's always a difficult question. You know, nobody wants to talk about failures. But let's say mistakes that you've done and you've learned from it, and maybe you should say, guys, be careful with that when you want to build products with AI. And if you have an example.
I think one, if I'm looking back, there were several of them that you try to fix. I think one is the maturity of the company. Really, like the gap between people say, I want to do AI, I'm super enthusiastic, and what they really know. So the gap, I think the failure that it's data in AI, it's very complex. Okay, so it's a lot of analytics, so it's skills that are very technical. This is a reality. And sometimes there's a gap because we just focus on these skills, on the data people, we hire people, data scientists, but we don't think of the company of a whole. We don't think that in order to make it successful, you need business teams to understand and have the background, and also tech teams to know what is cloud, what is a platform. So this is, I think, the main failure that we do not understand. And somebody told me at some point saying, Andrea, today, be careful when I took my new job. People are speaking so much about data and AI because some people do not dare to say, I don't understand. So you might go in a meeting and very super enthusiastic. You present a plan, everyone say, great, let's go for it. But at the end, nobody dares say, I have no clue what you're talking about.
So education, you think education?
It's more than education, it's just understanding that some people it's going to be easier, and I don't think when I say I will train whole the company, no, maybe it's going to be 5, max 10% of the people in the company that work with AI at the end.
Okay. So you don't have an example of product you could not put on the market because of that?
No, I will not say we don't put, it's the ROI that people expect.
Okay.
Okay, so just, I think you put it there and people will expect, so maybe in the past it happened like, marketing say, oh, but I thought the algorithm was doing that. It's like, it will predict everything will happen. It's just, no, you need, it's a translation to automate what you think and will create like maybe some, let's say, connections, but it's not going to be magic, this magical thing.
People think you can do anything with AI,
but you do it in production, in your work, and when you sit to the people there, it works, but what we realize that 6 months later, we're not there anymore, and say, oh, this is done, actually, people don't use it anymore. So
what are the KPIs you put in place to make sure that it works or doesn't? Do you have some thresholds? Do you have some...
The one that I'm very like, I do think like if you're in a company, like you need to be like value driven at the end, you know, just if not, you cannot invest more than you make as revenue. At some point it's going to be red and your business fails. So it's going, basically what we do is say, what is your basis? Okay, how many clients do you want? You want to increase your revenue. Okay, how are you tracking you do A/B testing, you put a dashboard that sees, are you supposed to talk to that client? For example, let's do a scoring and say, call this first list of clients. Great, let's call the clients. Do I measure that you really called it? Do I see the revenue going up? And I need to put another dashboard that I can look at in real time. So we're trying to push that. So if we have a pricing project today and we have this monitor, you see this is the price that you need to negotiate. I see if the client was contact. Did we change the contract terms? And do I see the revenues going up? So we have 2 dashboards, one with the product, the other one monitoring. So this is what I recommend to everybody, even if it's super, super hard to do that. But if you don't do it, you don't have and somebody told me in one of the countries, say, Andrea, this is great, my project, I don't even know how to discuss the investment because people see that it's working. It's just people get frustrated and say, we don't invest much in data. And I said, or in AI. Yes, but you don't prove the value either.
Awesome. So how do you prove your value for your clients, Philippe?
I mean, hopefully we deliver value every day, hopefully.
Do you put some KPIs with your clients in place?
Yes, yes, actually, I mean, even in the sales cycles, we work on ROI, we work on the value we can bring to on the table, because it's key, obviously. But after we follow our customers, we follow the deployments, we follow the usage of the platform. So that's obviously very key for us. But that's the key for our customers too, obviously.
Do you have any nightmares you want to share, or not horror stories, but let's say difficult times with some clients or implementation, or what did you learn from it?
I think it's always. It's very case by case, so I don't really have horror stories.
That's good.
Hopefully, hopefully. But yeah, sometimes the adoption, the adoption of very innovative features on how it's really on the ground and helping changing day-to-day life of customers or employees. Actually, it takes more time than expected. So that's
exactly what Andrea mentioned.
It takes time to really really be deployed and used concretely in everyday life. So. Yes, I don't have our stories, but sometimes I might have slower stories than others.
Okay, in B2B, that's life. I still have 2 minutes. I just want to tackle one last subject: is talent. Everybody is talking about talent because it's very linked to AI. How do you do to recruit the talent? Do you have some strategy put in place, and what do you make in place to make sure that you upskill your people that you already have in place? Andrea?
Recruiting is always challenging in this area, definitely. I think what I see that why people are coming working for us, I think it's 2 things. First is that we do have a clear strategy. So usually I explain and we have a presentation to the investors in London, so it's written there, it's public, you see the data in the integrated with the business strategy. So usually people think that I'm joining this company because really they need me. And second, that we managed to gather the data and AI community together. So people who are joining, I'm not joining I'm in a team of 2 people, I'm joining 150 people worldwide. And we present career paths for them, not just on data. We say, here, if you come working for us, based on your CV, what do you want to do, this is the opportunity they will have. So I give an example. If you're a data engineer, you can go and look in security or infrastructure, or you can go and this is the amount of countries that we have. So people like to project themselves. And then in terms of retention, basically I do the same thing, making sure that the person projects and he feels that he's a part of the company. And trainings, yes, we do have all the trainings, but we do not just certificates and all, we do hands-on training, so we have people in the team who will train people in other countries. So we have a whole program that it's half certificates and half you have people teaching you how to do it. Because my belief in data, you can do all the courses and teaching whatever on internet, but if you don't experience, learning it's going to stop. So at some point you will forget in 3 months. You will forget in every way what you learned in 3 months is not going to be up to date.
So what do you encourage your people to do to learn? It's not only internal, it's also they have to learn by themselves, I guess, right?
I always say to people, okay, what do you want? What do you like? What is your strength? When do you see yourself in 2 and 3 years? And please project and learn towards that. Make a goal, make a purpose. So I have somebody in the team, and I'm having these sessions with them, say, okay, what do you like to do? Okay, if you're a data product manager and you work in customer care, what do you like? Do you like more the tech part of the data? So in that case, we're going to put you trainings on data science and data engineering. Or do you see yourself in going to business and customer care? In that case, we're going to propose customer care or tech customer care. So we just try to work this with the person. And then I do think today I'm a manager who does that. Okay, so, but not everybody does that. And I think it's everybody's responsibility not to wait for the company, but for yourself to learn. But put your plan. What do
you have some resources you advise the room? Some resources they should reach out and check if they want to learn about AI?
I think either you are expert in your domain and you know the platforms and places. So I do have like some people courses that I enjoy and like. So I know I go there and I follow up that what
like
is
what?
up to date.
Like what?
I like Andrea G courses. I think he's very well at things. So I follow them not just for me, but I sometimes say, okay, I can propose this course to somebody else in the company.
What's the course called?
I think he has several of them.
What's the name?
And it's Andrea G. I think everybody
Andrea
knows him.
G.
It's but he has different
AI.
ones.
Okay,
yeah, he has a lot of them.
Frank.
But it's an example. Sometimes you like somebody, or I was an associate professor before, so I do have my colleagues, and you follow up. So and if you don't know nothing, you have a friend or you have somebody in your company who is an expert in the domain, call him, invite him to a coffee, and just ask him, okay, where do I start? Can you help?
Or they can reach out to you after the panel.
I will try, and I'll be able to respond to it. But yes, sometimes I do that also. People say, I have my son, he is asking himself, can you help? And sometimes I take half an hour to explain people that if you want to learn.
Awesome. Philippe, what do you do about talent? We are running out of time. What do you do about talent, and what's your go-to resources?
I mean, talent for us is obviously key because, we have a quite strong team in AI. How do we attract talent? I think our main know-how is to combine a lot of AI techniques, and that's something that is exciting for specialists. We combine machine learning, deep learning, Gen AI now. A lot of different techniques. So that's quite exciting. It's interesting for experts. So that's one thing. The other one is the fact that we are combining all these and we deliver a very industrial, reliable, repeatable service and value. And it's not so easy because you have to industrialize a lot of things, especially when you're a software vendor. You have a production chain to produce software. So you take care about everything. You can build nice models, but if you have a lot of regressions, for example, it doesn't work. So we have to improve. It took us quite a few years to reach the point where we have a really industrialized chain of production of the software. And that's a good challenge for very talented experts, is to balance the nice fancy thing and the real one, the hard one, the real day-to-day service.
Thank you, Philippe. I can feel Ethan's breath in my neck. And oh, he's putting both feet, then I'm bad. Guys, we're running out of time. I hope it was interesting. I've learned a lot. Thank you so much, Philippe, Andrea. You are staying for the conference a few hours more. They can reach out to you if they want. Perfect. Guys, let's have lunch.
Thank you.